Welcome to Adapt of Chicago Productions. I'm Lynn Pedato, and today we have a very special guest, Illinois' own Secretary of State, Jesse White. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Secretary.
Glad to be with you.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, we have a lot to cover. You're here to talk about several different programs, and the first one is this new pilot program that distributes the currency reader. Can you tell us about that?
Well, this is a currency reader, and those who are visually impaired can insert their bill into this reader, and it will verbally let them know the denomination of it.
Oh, wow.
And I know for a fact that many of these people who are visually impaired have had problems with not knowing the denomination. And so now, with this pilot program, they can insert the bill into the reader, and the reader will verbalize to them by saying, this is a $5 bill, or this is a $10 bill, or this is a $1 bill. So now you know what you have in your wallet, you know the bill that you're giving to the merchant, and then of course you expect to get some change back sometimes too.
Wow, that's a great tool for people to use. And I read online that this is one tool they're also developing, which you may not be aware of, I'm not sure, like the ability to actually fill the bills at some point. But they're not there yet. No, so this is great until that occurs.
Well, see, we're working with the Library of Congress, and right now, this is a pilot program with them, but we'll go live here in Illinois in January. And I just think it's a great tool for those who are visually impaired. So now you know what you have in your wallet. Now you know the denomination of the bill that you are giving to someone. And then when they give the money back, you can also use the reader to determine whether the bills they return to you are of the denomination that they said they were.
Wow, I never even thought about that aspect. So yeah, you can make sure you're getting back the correct change. So. Well,
yeah, and you see, in my job as a Secretary of State, I run the largest Secretary of State office in the nation. Mm-hmm. I have about 4,000 employees, a $396 million budget, 138 offices in 23 agencies. Wow. I'm also the head librarian for the state of Illinois. And I have 5,000 libraries that come into my jurisdiction. And we distribute about $77 million a year to the libraries. And then we also have a construction grant where if a library would like the facility to become handicap accessible, or they want to add on in addition to the facility of the roof blew off or the furniture went out, those dollars can be gotten well, first we have to participate with it. They have to raise half of the money, we'll give them the other half.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
And so we've been able to put a lot of communities back on track with the library.
Wow, okay, I didn't realize that that construction grants were available. That's
sure.
That's wonderful.
And then we also give grants to individuals who want to come up with the materials to help those who are impaired. Okay.
Well, and you guys also just recently gave a sizable grant to the Talking Book Center.
Yes, the Talking Book Center is a great tool. There are individuals who may want to use Braille, and then there are those who see a book, or there's a book before them, and they may not be able to read it, and so it can be read to them.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a great tool to help these individuals become better educated and better informed.
And the Talking Book Center, it was formed just recently in 2013. How does it work? Do you know?
We have people who read the books, and then we'll put those into our library, and then people can ask for that particular book, and the book could be sent to them, and they can read it. And it's a lot easier for someone to read to you than for you to, well, people who have Braille, they can read fairly well, and matter of fact, quite well. And so it's easier for you to just sit back and relax and listen to the stories. I remember when I was a kid coming up, we used to listen to the radio a lot, and they had some wonderful stories that you could hear. And that's basically the same system.
No, that's great. It is. I know several people who are on the production staff. They utilize the Talking Book Center, and they really like it. So it's a great tool, and thank you for the grant that you gave to them.
Well, it's a right thing to do, and I think that when you come through this world and you become successful, you get back. But then when you're in an office like mine, You want to do all you can to be a good steward.
Right. Well, we appreciate that very much. Well, going back to the currency reader, do you know how can people find out more information about it if that's something they're interested in trying out?
They could go online, www.cyberdriveillinois.com, and go to our library section.
Okay.
www.cyberdriveillinois.com, and they can ask for a currency reader. And as I said before, it's a pilot program now, but we'll go live in January.
Okay. And what does that mean, going live?
Meaning they will be readily available.
Okay, so anyone...
Usually when you start a program, you start out small and you take out all the kinks and all of the bugs. And then when you go live, you're upfront and personal.
Okay. So it will be readily available in January?
In January.
Okay.
And we're just glad to have this wonderful tool available to them.
Yes, yes, definitely. I think it's going to be life-changing for people.
Well, all you have to do is just close your eyes, and then you have some bills before you, and you won't have the slightest idea as to what the denominations are.
Right. Well, I also wanted to talk about the Persons with Disabilities parking program. There were a lot of changes that were made last year, and we're now like 9 months into the new law. How is the program running now?
Quite well. When I came into this office, we wanted to make sure that individuals who are disabled could apply for a placard. If you are temporarily disabled, the placard would be read. If you are a transporter of people, senior citizens, or those individuals who are disabled, then of course that would be green. But then if you're permanently disabled, then the placard is blue.
Okay.
And then you could park anywhere. But now, since we have found out that there's been a lot of abuse in the program, we now have a placard that can only be used when you don't have the ability to get out of your car to feed the meter.
Okay.
And so when you go to the malls and to the football games or the baseball games, there won't be any meters there, and your placard can be used there as well.
Okay.
But I think it's yellow and gray. That's the color when you are unable to feed the meter.
Oh,
now,
okay.
something else that I want the people to understand too, and that is, you can only fix the placard above your rearview mirror. When you're parking your car, you cannot drive down the highway with it waving in the wind, so to speak.
Okay.
So remember, you put it up when you're parking the car, and if you're not parking the car, it should be in the glove box or somewhere within the automobile.
Okay, so this is more about feeding the meter. It's not, because like where I grew up, and well, even here, everywhere, you have the handicap parking spaces, and you have to display some type of sign. So this is different from that.
Let me do this.
Okay.
If you're in the mall or in the shopping center or on the street, but not in the downtown area,
Right.
where there are meters, you can display the placard, the green, the red, or the blue.
Okay.
But when you are at a meter, then you have to display the gray and
Or the yellow. Right. Okay. Okay. See, I didn't get that in all my research. Thank you for explaining it.
Well, I think it's a violation of all laws of human decency for you to be able-bodied, but yet you want to take advantage of a program that's been set aside for those who are truly disabled.
Right.
Now, there have been individuals who have tried to use the placard to park in downtown Chicago, and that's why the change.
Okay.
And if you get caught using someone else's disability placard, then the first fine is, I think it's $500. And the second fine is $750, and I think you lose your license for a year. And the third is $1,000, and you lose your license your license is revoked.
Okay.
Now, when it's revoked, that's a different ball game. You're in deep trouble.
Yes. You would be in deep trouble.
But you see, what happens is that at the football games, like the Bears, Soldier Field, or out in Joliet at the racetrack, individuals will pull in with a fancy car, they'll affix the placard above the rearview mirror, and they'll run into the ball game, and they'll enjoy the game, or if the team wins it, that we don't know whether they've enjoyed it or not. They'll come back out and get in that car. Many times our Secretary of State police are there, and they will ask you for some identification. On the placard, we have holes punched into the material that law enforcement know the age of the person and the sex of the person.
Oh, wow.
And then there's an identification there, like a driver's license number or identification number, which will let the law enforcement officer know who the person is. Not necessarily who you are, because they have your license, but they'll let you know that this car belongs to Mary James or Joe Smith or whatever the case may be, and not you.
That's very good. I mean, if you're going to have a law and you're going to have procedures, you need to make sure they're followed. And
you're going to find some abusers.
And everything.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. But it's great that you guys are actively checking.
And the other thing, too, and that is, if you're at a mall, and especially not during the holidays, Christmas time, Thanksgiving, and you're at the mall, and you're disabled, and you're trying to park your car, and someone who is not authorized to be in that spot is occupying it. So now you may have to go to the back of the mall parking lot, find a normal place to park your car. Then when you come out, there are two cars parked beside you. How are you going to get your wheelchair out? It's ugly.
Right.
And that should not be done.
No.
You have to be considerate of those in need.
Right. I agree 100%. Well, are there any changes for 2015 that you're aware of to the program, or is it pretty stable?
No, it's working quite well, but we're just looking around to see if there are some problems out there, and if there are problems, we're going to address them.
Okay. Okay. Well, another thing I wanted to discuss was the Life Goes On registry. I think you established that, well, I've been very active in it, let's just say. And you did establish the first person consent.
Well, let me share this with you.
Okay.
When I came to office, the organ donor program was alive and well here in Illinois. But the numbers of participants were not to where we thought they should be. I'd like to tell you a quick story, if I may.
Sure.
My brother was a pharmacist at the Lakeside VA Hospital. He wasn't feeling well. And so he was took to a doctor, diagnosed as suffering from an aneurysm, took him to the hospital. While I was there, a member for the Regional Organ Bank of Illinois asked, if by chance this young man doesn't make it, can we use his organs for transplantation purposes? I said, no, don't bother him, don't bother us. Leave us alone. I thought it was an experimental program. So he passed away that night. We buried him a few days later, and then a couple of years later, my sister became ill. Was in dire need of a kidney that was not a match within the family. And so she put her name on the organ tissue donor list, and as a result of someone else's generosity, she got a second chance at life. That was long before I became the Secretary of State. So then, when I was getting ready to assume this position, someone raised the issue. You know that the organ donor program is going to be a part of your functions as the Secretary of State. Do you know anything about it? I said, I know all about it. Been there, done that, know that I denied the use of my brother's organs, and then a few years later I found out my sister needed an organ. The light came on. And so every day I spend time trying to encourage individuals within the sound of my voice to participate in this meaningful program. Here in Illinois, we have 5.6 million people who have become organ donors. However, there are 5,000 people on the waiting list as we speak, and each year about 300 people die because organs have not arrived in a timely manner. We ask that when you're alive and well, give blood, you're no longer here, give organs, and when you've done those two things, you made a positive impact upon society. Consider the fact that one person can provide life or improve the quality of life for 25 individuals. We honored a doctor at the Loyola Medical Center. She gave her patient her kidney.
Oh, wow.
We honored a teacher at New Lenox, Illinois. She gave her student her kidney. And then one of my tumbers was shot and killed coming out of the Ford City Mall Theater, and was shot and killed, and as a result of that tragic situation, 6 of his organs were used for transplantation purposes. So you have a lot of heroes out there, and we're asking everyone in Illinois to become a hero. It's
a very important program, and it's just great that it's grown so much under your leadership.
Well, some of the things that we're doing now, and that is, for number one, we're asking individuals they want to become a part of this program, they could go online, www.lifegoeson.com, www.lifegoeson.com, or they could go to the telephone and they can dial 1-800-210-2106, 1-800-210-2106, or if they go to one of my 138 facilities, and of course we'll ask them, would they like to become an organ donor? And if they say yes, then we'll put them into our database. When I first became the Secretary of State, you come into the office, seeking the various services, and we'd ask you, would you like to become an organ donor? You'd say yes, we would put you into our system, have you to sign the back of your driver's license, have 2 individuals sign on as witnesses.
Oh, wow.
So when that moment arrived, there would be smooth transition. But we found that 20% of the organs were not harvested because their loved ones were distraught and decided that they did not want their loved ones' organs used for transplantation purposes. And so we lost those valuable and meaningful organs. So now, when you say you want to become a part of this program, we will honor your wish.
Okay, so that's what first person consent is.
That's what first person consent is.
Well, and have there been a lot of myths to overcome? Because, like, for example, I had friends from out of town, and I told them I was going to be interviewing you, and this was one of the issues we were going to discuss. And one of my friends said, oh, well, somebody told me that if you sign up to be an organ donor, that the doctors aren't going to try to save you. And I'm like, I don't believe that, but I'm sure it's out there.
That's just one of them. Your doctor has a commitment to you and to you only. And then they'll say, well, they're going to sell my organs. Well, we don't sell organs in this country. Or they may say, the rich man's going to get his organs before I get mine. That will not occur. Or they'll say, it's going to cost me money to donate my organs. No, it doesn't cost you a dime. And then, of course, they'll say, my religion will not allow me. 99% of the religions here in this country support the organ tissue donor program, and they'll say, I won't look good, am I going away? Well, morticians have it down to a science. I think they know how to make you look presentable in your homecoming. So don't buy into the myths.
Yeah, no, I
Become
agree.
a part of this meaningful program. You may not have a need today, you may not have a need tomorrow, but sometime during your lifetime, you or someone that you may know will have a need. We just hope that when that moment arrives, that there'll be an adequate supply of organs available.
Yes, definitely. Well, when you spoke about religion, we're approaching Thanksgiving holiday, and so your office also participates in the National Donor Sabbath. What is that?
What I do is I travel to the churches, and the ministers will give me an opportunity to talk about the organ and tissue donor program. I talk a little about my office, and then I talk about the organ and tissue donor program. And in the African American community, 58% are on the list for organs. However, we participate at a level of 32%. And I remind them that you cannot go to a supermarket and buy $58 worth of groceries and only get $32 and only have $32. I said, so we just want you to seriously consider becoming a part of this meaningful program. And many times we're able to leave the church with a number of people, a respectable number of people who have signed up. And the minister within those churches play an important role, because if they say this is a good program, this is a good thing, this is something you should rally around, 9 times out of 10 the parishioners are going to follow the lead of their minister.
Yes. No, that's wonderful that you do that. Getting the word out and letting people know that it is acceptable and it's something, it's a true gift.
Sure.
It's a true gift.
Well, when I think about signing up one person, I think about the possibility of 25 individuals receiving a second chance at life, or their quality of life will improve.
Yes.
So this is a program that I really, really believe has a lot of worth, a lot of value.
That was touched your life, and so you saw firsthand
Oh yeah.
the need for it. So it's and it touches people's lives every day. So thank you. Thank you for improving it and getting out there.
Well, I'm out there 7 days a week. I'm out there 7 days a week for several things. I coach a team called the Jesse White Tumblers.
Oh, yes.
And we've been around for exactly 55 years, and we've had over 15,000 young people come through the program. At last count, to our knowledge, only 117 have got themselves in trouble with the law. And it's been after combat juvenile delinquency. And right now we have 324 young people. We do about 1,500 shows a year. And we do about, we turn down about 300 requests. Can I put them into our schedule? Mm-hmm. And we travel all over the world, helping these young people to grow tall and straight, staying away from gangs, drugs, and those negative aspects of life. Out of the 325, we have 71 young people in college. Wow. You can be a good athlete once you be a good student and a good human being. We teach our young people to love their fellow man and woman. If they don't love their fellow man and woman, don't dislike their fellow man and woman. And then, of course, drugs and gangs, those things are more unacceptable. Mm. So I just believe that when you come through this world and you get it, you give it back. I also believe that every day you should do something good for someone. Mm-hmm.
Definitely words to live by, and that's what hopefully people who are watching this show will take that to heart, and everyone you meet, because it's definitely an important lesson and a reminder for all of us.
Sure, I just hope that they'll go back into their community and make life a lot better for the young people who are going to help run this great country of ours one day.
Yes, definitely. Well, do you have anything else to add or anything to share in our final minutes?
Well, one of the things that we're looking at now, and that is, I have a commercial that's out.
Okay.
And it's all about fake IDs. What is happening is this, and I'll give you some examples. You have your fraternity member or your sorority member, and you have your driver's license. Your driver's license is vertical. Vertical means that you're under the age of 21. When you reach the age of 21, then it becomes horizontal. So they want to go into the club, into the bar, buy alcohol, buy tobacco, and the proprietor will ask, "May I see your driver's license or your state ID?" And it comes up vertical. It means that he cannot serve you because you're under the age of 21. So many of these young people will get involved with having fake IDs made. There's that one person who will collect all the information, collect all the money, send all of that information overseas, and then weeks later, the document will come back to O'Hare Field in teacups, wow, in disguised in packages, and then they collect them and they distribute them to these individuals. Okay. Now, the bad part of it is this: $2,500 fine if you get $25,000 fine if you get caught with a fake ID, along with the fact that you lose your license for a 1-year period of time. Community service about 50 hours. Then you're talking about corruption on your record. Right. And then identity theft too is also in the equation. So can you imagine, you have gone through college, you spent $60,000 a year to become better educated and better informed, you graduate, and now you're trying to get a job, and this corrupt thing is on your record. The other thing too, and that is, you could lose whatever money you have left because someone else has your information. Mm-hmm. So I'll be traveling around the state of Illinois, visiting every college and university that I can get to let them know that this is a bad idea. If they ever think about gaining an advantage so they can get into the bars or into the clubs to use alcohol. But I think the other thing too, and that is, when you consume alcohol, then you really interfere with my mission, that is to help make the roads of Illinois the safest ever. So now you're talking about a possible DUI.
Oh, wow, yes.
And that's another minimum of $12,000 that you have to fork over.
Well, I'm so happy you're going to be out there talking about that at these colleges. And thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Just glad to be on board, and I just want to thank you for being a breath of information and inspiration to your viewing audience.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. This is Adaptive Chicago Productions. Have a great one.